Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Liluy Nishmat Mordechai. Today's share is sponsored L'zechus, all the Chaylim fighting a very, very dangerous and unfortunately deadly war. For all the Neftarim, for all the Chaylim today, I saw the numbers 5,039 injured. 5,000. You hear the number? It's crazy. Injured. 5,039. 3,000 of them were lightly injured, meaning these are all people treated in the hospital. I think over 3,000 were already released, but there's like 300 that are gravely ill. The number is not pashut. And of course, those who are kidnapped. And after Shir, we'll say, Bezer Shem, a capital Tehillim. Here, we'll start off with a few good morning Rabbi Sais, a couple, I should say. These four Bachrim, I was very, very impressed with. They're all doing the daf on their own time in yeshiva, the yeshiva boys, and I met them in Woodmere. Here goes. Let's go.
Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Betsy Solomon, Megillah. Binyamin Stern Sota. Dovid Halman Rochel. Yosef Solomon Game.
Unbelievable, guys. In North Woodmere. Beautiful. I gave a share there. The famous podcaster made it into that. Okay. A Jew at the sign, you're familiar? Okay. He actually interviewed me a Meaningful Minute back in the day. Okay. Here's another one. Rabbi Sai, here we go.
Good morning, Rabbi Sai.
You want to hear that? Here goes. It's on cue.
Good morning, Rabbi Sai.
The dog's a bucky.
We got some calls. Good morning, everybody's rough.
Two people sent this to me, so I'll show it to you. They said that it's kiss from Hashem because it's Mamash our Sugya. This happened today in Eretz Yisrael. A truck overturned, and what was in the truck? It's not showing. Basically, a truck full of cows and strawberry rice, and they couldn't catch that. The whole shmaggy thing, whatever. Okay. I guess Yosef will have to show that later. It was a big balagan. I don't know. Hi, Rebelli. I wanted to write to you for a few weeks already, but now I can't hold back anymore. I started listening to this shir about a month ago, at the beginning of Asar Yuchsin, for entertainment purposes. I'm a Koil younger man, and after a long day of learning and steiging, I just wanted to relax with a good novel till 1 o'clock in the morning, until I heard your interview on latest talks, and I decided to try your shir instead. I was hooked. It was everything I wanted, fun, entertaining geschmack, but I didn't even chab how from entertainment and fun it morphed into a commitment to do the daf every day. Until today we learned a very complicated sugi in Koil. Simen Kuf Samach, if you'd Gimel, connected to the sugi in Kedushin Daf Zayin about Midin Orah Viknani Midin Shneim. I couldn't get my head around it. Told the cheshbonis up and down until I went back to the shir that you gave there, and my eyes mamish lit up. The charts, the nice and kabel, everything became crystal clear. Yeshikoyach. Now I understand that the shir is much more than entertainment and fun. Fun way to do daf. Such siyad shmai can only come from a real commitment to help Klal Yisrael. Okay, Yeshikoyach. Maybe Zarek to continue doing so many years with health and happiness. Lots of knowledge from your family, and all of your Talmidim, your Talmud. Moshe. P.S. If you want to read the email aloud, please don't mention my name. So I didn't really mention his full name. Rabbi said because of our very close friend, Robert Airley, who lost his son this Shabbos in the war. So MDY is doing a campaign you can take out your phones if you want to join this. Very, very simple. They did a Google sheet of half a shas. Basically, all the shiurim from brachas till then the kiddushin, half a shas. And if you want, you put your camera on this QR code, and you just go into the Google Doc, and you can listen to one shir. They want to finish shas in the next 4 days. Half a shas in 4 days. It's a big undertaking. We'll see. So far, it didn't go. I didn't speak about it yet, and over 200 people signed up. You can pick any daf. Now minus 200 daf. Chaparai, do something special for our great chaver. It's tremendous loss, and very, very much felt it hit home. Binyamin is the son of MDY Rob Early, who attends Shir every day, or Mabit Shemesh. He does Mamish every single day for basically the last 3 years. Click on the link below. We want to complete the Chazar by Matzah Shabbos, November 25th. Gewald again. Here he is again, Robert. And this boy actually went to the same school as all 3 of my boys in Am Yisrael, Torah Shalom. It's more of like it's Haredi American kind of cheder, and there's all, you have Chaylim as well. Very sweet guy. So the Masechta is sponsored for the unity of Am Yisrael. Parakeets of the Regel, table 6 for Naftali Ben Channa, who was in a skiing accident almost 2 years ago and is paralyzed from his waist down. Reb Chaim said we should learn Parakeets of the Regel for him. Parnas HaChodesh, the Nishmat Zechraya Ben Moshe and Nishmas Yosef. Parnas HaChodesh, refore Shlema, Dvora Basara. I was also in a skiing accident, but nothing to that thing. I had 14 stitches, and that was the last time I went skiing, and I took up snowboarding right after that. That was, I don't know, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I don't even know. Huh?
Is that safer?
No, it's probably more dangerous, but the way I got cut was by my own ski. I was doing something stupid, and my left ski came up and sliced my right knee. And I figured if both of your feet are tied into a snowboard, that can't happen. But what could happen is they could break your head. So it's like you gain over here and you lose over there. It wasn't very smart, but it's a different sport, whatever. Hatzlocha L'zechus Yosef Mayer ben Rochel and yidden worldwide. The art of the month, Yosef ben Chai Sarah for the schusim that come from supporting Limud Torah. A number of very interesting stories. Today is very, very easy, very geschmack stuff. So listen to this story. There was a woman who was at her parents' house for Shabbos, and when she got home, she realized that she left the pacifier of her child at her parents' house, and she didn't have another pacifier, and she's going crazy. The kid would not go to sleep. Those who know. So mother came up with a great idea. Her mother didn't want to come all the way to the house, She said, okay, the next bus that comes, she called up her daughter. She says, listen, go to the bus stop, and you'll see your pacifier on the outside of the bus. I stuck with a piece of tape to the outside of the bus. So the question is, halachically, is there anything wrong done here? Did she use the bus without paying? Is that a problem? And there was another true story that happened. This is a little bit less sensitive. There's a woman who wanted to go to Shabbos Shev Brachos, and she couldn't figure out who's going to take care of her kid. And she came up with this terrible idea. She went to the Gemach for lost children, and she said, I found a child. And they watched her child for like 3 hours. And then she came back. She goes, oh, yeah, I think I found the parent or whatever. So is she chayav for babysitting? These kind of things. Let's see if we can figure some of this stuff out today. So it says the Gemara, 6 lines from the bottom of Yutes Amud Beis. Ahu chamora, there was a donkey, the ochal nahama. I mean, this is a daf that we could have gone mamish crazy with AI. And if we had 10 artists, we could have done a lot more. But you'll see, we did a lot of very nice art today. Here's a case where it could have been very nice in AI. Ooh! Can't believe it. A guy, I forgot to check before share. Okay. If he did, somebody was going to send me some nice art, and I forgot to check. I was running out of time, I hope. Okay, if not, I'll show it tomorrow. You know what? And Bezer Shem will be able to put it into the actual shir, even though if I'm not showing it now, it will be in the regular shir, if he does send it. The donkey ate a loaf of bread that was in a basket, and he chewed up and he ate the basket. So let's think about it for a second. Let's pause. He ate the bread. What is that? Shen, if it's in Rochel chayiv nezik shalom. Donkey who eats a basket, what is that? Keren, and in Rochel chayiv chatzi nezik. So chayiv Rav Yehuda shalom nezik shalom and ahama. He made him pay full price on the bread. V'asala nezik chatzi nezik only half. Says Gemara V'amai, given the Rochel lemeichel nahama, if it's normal to eat bread. Isn't that normal for a donkey to by mistake chew up he's not so careful, he eats bread and then some of the basket goes in his mouth. Says Gemara, you're right, that would be normal, so you would have to pay for the basket. It's talking about the ochal. He first finished up the bread. Then he took a look and he saw a nice basket, decided to try to eat that. That's strange. And a strange hezek, you only pay half an hezek. V'hoder palas. Says Gemara, was it normal for a donkey to eat a loaf of bread? It says, if an animal ate a bread, ubasar, ate a steak, the tafshil, and shalom, mishal chatzi nezek, he pays half. So half a nezek would mean that it's strange. He ate shalom, this is weird. He ate bread, pas. It says pas, bread. If it was normal, you would have to pay the full amount. Why is he paying half amount? You're talking about a cow, a donkey. Loy b'chai, we're talking about an elephant, a lion. They don't eat bread. Says the Gemara, chaya basar, but one of the items is meat. They do eat steaks. Says the Gemara, no, the mitveh. They don't eat. They eat raw meat. They don't eat roasted meat. Perhaps it's talking about a deer. A deer doesn't eat meat and doesn't eat bread. What does it eat? It eats grass. It eats, do you guys know about deer? Deer, there's like 36 million deer in America. And I don't know if this is they cause. Yeah, they have them right here in Peterson. I saw them in the park in Peterson many times. So they cause over $1 billion worth of car accidents, and they take 200 lives a year. You know that? Deer. Nice deer. But anyway, they're a big nuisance for a lot of people. You could be talking about an animal, and it's talking about that he ate it on a table, so it's mamish weird, and that's in the story. Yeah, you're right. Behemoths eat bread. Maybe you say a behemoth eats bread, but not sitting down at a table. That's also nice AI. This is what I asked. The deer went to yeshiva. Says the Gemara, Ahu Barcha, there was a goat. The Chazal Lifta, he saw a turnip, Apuma de Dana. Interesting story. He saw a turnip on top of a barrel. Sorach Solik, he jumped up onto the barrel. Achla Lifta, he ate the turnip. Vitavri Ledana, and he destroyed the barrel. So again, let's think about it. The turnip is chayev, the full amount, because it's shen. Chayev Rov Alifta. Va'adana, and also on the barrel, nezik shalom. So the question is, why on the barrel? My timer. Kiv in the Rochel lifta, since it's normal for him to eat turnip, so it's normal for him to jump up and get it. If it's on top of a trunk of a car, whatever it is, he'll go up on top of that thing and therefore cause damage to the car, let's say, while he's eating the turnip. Mele yischayev nezik shalom. Omar ilfa. Behemo b'rshus harabim. Here's our first AI. It's beautiful stuff now. New program. Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what I made a mistake. No, I wanted to name them, so I copied and pasted the thing in 3. We have it now in 3 shards. I'll fix it for the shear. Yosef has a lot of work here. Okay. No matter how many hours in the day there are, I'm always rushing in the last minute. It's like Shabbos, running out of the shower 2 minutes before Shkia, even if Shabbos comes at 10 o'clock at night, Shabbos comes at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, no matter what, it's always 2 minutes before Shkia. Chas v'shalom, not Shkia. I meant Hatzlocha L'zechus. So you have an animal eating on top of another animal, chayeves. So listen to this. Where's this animal in this picture? This is Rishus Harabim. Rishus Harabim, there's no Shen. Shen and Rishus Harabim is Potter. So why are you chayev over here? Oh, the basket on the animal becomes a Rosh Hashanah. How do you know this? It's like in your car, Rosh Hashanah might be Rosh Hashanah. My time, interesting. I said the story, but it's kedai. It fits right in over here, and it's a good Musar piece. When Rebbe Kiva, the Medrash Rabbah, and says in Parashat Shmois, I think it's Perek Chav Gimel. So the Medrash says that when Rebbe Kiva was still he was Akiva and he didn't learn any Torah. So his wife said, "Why don't you go to Cheder?" He's 40 years old. He's very embarrassed. He said, "I can't go. I'm going to sit there with little kids learning Aleph Beis." I think his own kid was in the school. It wasn't good. So she told him, "Listen, you see this donkey over here? Let's take this donkey." The donkey had like a little bit of a defected donkey. It had a little bit of a enclave, his back wasn't straight. She filled it up with dirt and she planted some grass. And eventually it grew on the donkey's back. And she said, go to the marketplace. So Akiva goes to the marketplace and people started coming over to check this out. They've never seen vegetables grow on a donkey's back. And after 2-3 days, nobody came anymore. He kept on going and eventually nobody cared anymore. She said, you see, it's a busha for 2-3 days. But look, they'll say it's weird that a 40-year-old is sitting with the 5-year-olds, but afterwards everybody gets used to it. And the Musar Haskell is because, and I say this over and over, I know people that till this day they talk in shul during Kaddish, during everything, because they're simply embarrassed to tell their friends, I stopped talking. It's like they know it's not okay, but it's a certain busha. I'm going to learn when I became a big tzaddik. I don't talk in shul anymore. That busha. Yeah, it's embarrassing for 2 days. 2 days, that's it. Then everybody says, oh, you know what? He covered the war and the effort and all the sick people. He took upon himself. He's not such a meshugana. He's not such a big tzaddik. It's okay. Anyway, Zog the Gemara. My time Gabi Chaver took a chatzan izik dami. Says Gemara, I'll bring you a raya. Leim say Eli. Haisaku pasoy muvshelas lachayrav. A person is wearing a knapsack, and upashta tzavara v'achlo mimeno. An animal comes. He suddenly feels something like, oh, wow, either I became very strong over this little trip or something's missing from my knapsack. Turns out that an animal was eating from it. Now, remember when we spoke about the lion is eating raw meat. He's supposed to eat live meat, not dead meat. It's the same thing that you're eating, but if you do it differently, you're not chayev. So over here, so the owner of the animal is chayev. And, so what do you want to say? Why are you chayev? You're chayev because it's a rishus hayachid. Because a knapsack is rishus hayachid. So if a knapsack is rishus hayachid, so the basket on the donkey, this basket over here is also rishus hayachid. Okay? Says the Gemara. It keeps on saying the same. So no, that's not a raya. Why? The reason why you're chayiv, the Amarava because fetzes. When the animal jumps up and down, that's a little strange, and you are chayiv because then it walks away from shen and becomes a keren, because the animal's doing weird stuff. Because fetzes, like we're going to see in a second where Rava answered that thing that it's jumping. So over here also, again, jumping is strange. Like my grandfather said, Ma'aseh Shahaya, you told my father, take this Elio guy, take him straight to the hospital. He's strange. He's been jumping on the bed for the last 3 hours. Jumping is strange. Ma'aseh Shahaya, my father always used to tell me this. He says, even Zaidi used to say, you're little... Okay? No, he didn't say it like that. So where did Rava say this idea that the animal's jumping and it's strange? Aha. The animal is in Rishus Rabim and she's walking. And as she's walking, she's eating potter. Why you potter? Because that's Shem Rishus Rabim. But if it stood still and ate, now all of a sudden it becomes what? It becomes Keren? Because it's standing still? As the Gemara, when it's walking and eating, I went horseback riding a number of times, and the horses, as they're walking, if they walk next to different stuff, they'll eat off a tree as they're walking. It's normal. As the Gemara, but certainly they stopped to eat. That's not. Amarava, yeah, it stopped because fetzes, but it was jumping. That's weird. Have you ever seen an animal, a goat, going like this and eating? They don't do that. So memelo by us also, if it was jumping, it's Mishuna's care. Boy Reb Zera, Mizgalgal Mao. If the food rolled from one domain to another domain, what was the case? Kigoin the kaim omer b'shus hayachid become galgal v'asi l'shus hayachid l'shus harabim. Again, regular shen you're only chayiv in Rosh Hayachid. So what happened was there was straw in Rosh Hashanah, and this animal drags it out of the Rosh Hashanah to eat it in the Rosh Hashanah. What's the Allah? You hear the Shaila? Do we say he ate it in Rosh Hashanah and therefore he's potter? Or no, he took it out of the Rosh Hashanah. Part of the process of eating is to take it and bring it to your mouth. So he took it out of the Rosh Hashanah, then he brought it in his mouth, and his mouth happened to be Rosh Hashanah. But he started the process of eating in Rosh Hashanah, and to me it makes a lot of sense. I mean, why shouldn't it be chayav? It's all part of eating. Sometimes you have to take a fork and go like this, and okay, the Gemara says, "My Toshma." I'll bring you right. You have a sack full of food. Some of it is in Rosh Hashanah, some of it is in Rosh Hashanah. So if the animal is in Rosh Hashanah, you're chayiv. If the animal is in Rosh Hashanah, you're potter. So that's our case. My lam is galgav asi. Isn't it that he grabbed the entire sack and brought it to himself in Rosh Hashanah, therefore he's chayiv, or he brought it himself in Rosh Hashanah, therefore he's potter? Says the Gemara, no, the sack didn't move. He ate half the sack that's in Rosh Hashanah, therefore he's chayiv on half the sack. And if he's on the side of Rosh Hashanah, he walked to Rosh Hashanah, he ate the other half, then he's potter on that part. We're talking about pasta. Now, it's really not pasta. We're talking about like a long, like straw, but I think it works very well with pasta. So I told Yoshi to draw this. It's beautiful. Check this out. The animal's in Rosh Hashanah, and he's eating pasta. He's eating spaghetti. Now, how do you eat spaghetti? You eat it, and as you eat it, it comes to you. That's what the Gemara is saying. He was in Rosh Hashanah. Half of the food was in Rosh Hashanah. But as he eats, it comes completely into his mouth, into the Rosh Hashanah, and that's why he's completely chayiv. And if it was this way around, he was in Rosh Hashanah, and he pulled the pasta into his mouth from the Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah, and then he would be completely potter. Okay? Here, I'll show you here. There's a kid at the door. I'll show him that picture. It's kshmak. Okay? So now we got to see this one more time. Oh, over here I did put in Baruch Hashem, at least one. I put what it's supposed to say. Basically, he's eating vegetables and he's eating a kli. When he eats the vegetable, our kids don't look at them. They're watching. That he's chayiv. But when he eats the kli, I don't know what the halacha is exactly. He goes bye-bye. Okay. Achla peres akelim. So says the Gemara like this. We learned in the Mishnah, achla ksus, if he ate the ksus or kalim, the iPhone, he's potter. So ask the Gemara, hayo. Which one of these cases are we talking about? Is it the pepper case also, or it's just the iPhone case? What is he potter? Omara bakulu. So even the kalim, you'd be potter because it's a tolda of Karen. My taima, kolam eshanu ba. When a person does something strange, he brought it upon himself. He put his phone down. He shouldn't have done that. Who puts a phone down in the middle of the street? Potter. If the other guy came and he did something funny, he ate the phone, it's not his problem. It's not the owner's problem. Why? Because you shouldn't have put your phone down. No, that's only the fruit. You're chayiv on the kalim. Both of them are potter. Rish goes according to his own sheet. You have two cows. One is laying down in the middle of a highway. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about cars. Guy is on a highway, 3 lanes. his car breaks down. And achas ma'aleches, one of them is going, one of them is driving, but ma'alech is bervutza ptura. It's not the guy that's walking and gave him a good kick. He's potter. What are you sitting there for? Revutza b'ma'aleches, but if the one that's laying on the ground sticks out its leg, wants to trip the other guy, chayeves. That makes sense. No, you're chayev for the kelim. Does he also argue on the case of the two cows? Loy. He holds like Rish Lakish by two cows. Why? It's normal for a person to take off his coat, to put down his cell phone, whatever he's doing. He wants to rest up a little bit. That's normal. No. But an animal, I said how he's tam to the mamchish. But an animal is not the derech to lay down like that. Fine. So we learned this very interesting Mishnah. We had no idea what was going on. That if it benefits and enjoys himself, you pay. Mashanas. You have to pay whatever you benefited. Vikama. So, Maisa Shahaya, a guy comes, and this could happen in my house. A guy comes and borrows a bottle of wine. He comes back, Motzei Shabbos, and he pays, $15 for a bottle of wine. So the guy says, "What are you doing? $15. I gave you Castell. Pay up. It's $120. What are you doing?" It's Castell. I asked you for Castell. I asked you for a bottle of wine. I wanted to make Kiddush. I always make on the cheapest wine that they sell. So, believe it or not, so the guy, so why don't you tell me it's Castell? Because I can't say on Shabbos a price. It's not right. You should have at least. Rabbi Zimmerstein says he doesn't have to pay him $125 because you should have told him you're dealing with a night. A lot of people don't know what they're dealing with. They don't know what Castell is. They know what this is. Yatir, this. Wine is wine. $15, $10. How much does a bottle of wine cost? I don't know the prices anymore. Here in Eretz Yisrael, 15 shekel, 20 shekel. Fine. So he says no. He only has to give him the 25 shekel and Am Yisrael. Vikamo. How much does he have to pay? Rabba Omar Demei Omer. This animal ate the best of the best. He ate barley, good stuff, expensive stuff. He only has to pay him the least. He saved him a meal. I could have fed my animal the cheapest meal, straw, Amir. Rav Amar, Demei Sa'irim Bezol. You only have to pay. It's interesting because Rav is the Talmud of Rabbah. He argues on his Rebbe. No, you don't have to pay the cheapest. That's not right. Pay the most expensive on sale. Meaning, pay him 2/3 of what he took. It's much more than straw. There's mices like this all the time. This is a very geschmack of maisa. Also, maisa shahaya and Eretz Yisrael. Guys, this is paint my house. I'm on vacation, paint my house. Where are the keys? I'm leaving you the keys in the electric cabinet. Guy goes, takes the keys out of the electric cabinet, opens up the door, paints the whole house. Turns out it was the wrong apartment. The other neighbor also put the keys in the electric thing, but on the other side. Maisa shahaya. Now, I had a Maisa Shahaya, real, it's true story. You can ask David Freeman. Well, he probably doesn't remember anymore, but you can ask Moshe Epstein. I shouldn't say his name. He's going to get mad at me now. Lives here in Chicago. Anyway, I was in charge of 1,000 apartments. My uncle's apartments. It's called International Village. I was doing the construction there. Back in the day, I was doing construction. So the first day, we had to renovate all. It's a big complex. It's 2 complexes. There's like 1,500 apartments, I think, total. So anyways, I'm in one place, and I gather a crew, and we had trucks. We had dump trucks and pickup trucks, and 20 guys. We're going to mamish renovate the whole thing. So I take them. They didn't really speak English that well. There's a lot of Spanish, and my Spanish is not great. So I explained to them in Spanish. We're going to go into Devonshire 1, and we're going to knock out this apartment. We're going to take out all the cabinets and all the this and all the tile from all the bathrooms, all the sinks and everything. Put it into the dump truck, take the dump truck, bring it to the dumpster, and when you're done, we're gonna bring in the cabinets. And meanwhile, I go to another crew. All of a sudden, I start getting phone calls. What happened? Instead of going to Devonshire 1, they went to Zurich 1, and they took apart a guy's apartment completely. They destroyed the entire apartment. I'm not magazine, all the way to the studs. But what happened to the guy's stuff? No, they put it. They thought he didn't move out, so they put all his stuff in bags. And the guy comes back, and there's no kitchen, there's no bathroom. Okay, where was I? Why didn't I know about it? Like, because whatever, there's a bunch of crews, and I was with this guy. I was showing them how to put on the cabinet. Fine. So, I mean, these are shilas of, we're going to see in a second. I improve your property. It's not really the sugi so much, but for a good story, it's okay. Says Gemara, Tanya Kivasei the Rava. Tanya Kivasei the Rabba, Tanya Kivasei the Rava. I have a raya like the Rebbe, like the Talmud. Tanya Kivasei the Rabba. Reb Chaim by Choy. It's not a bad raya. Reb Chaim by Choy is B. Ein Mishalemes El Dmei Omer Bilvad. He only has to pay the amount of straw. Your animal ate steak and sushi and all the great stuff. The owner could say, listen, I don't really feed my animal the barley, which is the top of the top. I know even Hayom Hazeh, they feed barley like to animals that need a strength. It's more expensive. Feed him straw. So you only have to pay straw. It's like, I don't know if there's a good marshal. You borrow my car, you fill it up with 97 instead of, I don't need 97. You give me 97. Put in 80, whatever. Is that what it's called? 87 and 94. 93. I ask you for 93. I do 85 every day. Oh, I'm used to my Lexus. My Lexus is 93. Okay, good, but I don't need it. Why do you have to give me? I don't need soirim. I give my animal. I give him straw. So the Gemara talking about the Rava. Keitzad. Oh, it says in the Brisa that if it benefits, you have to pay what you benefited. Keitzad. What's a good example? They ate a certain amount, a large amount, and he does not have to pay the entire amount. It doesn't sound fair to the guy that lost this, but that's how it works when it comes to damages from an animal. You pay what you gained. You owner, you gain. How much does he want to feed his animal? So this is the idea of soir. Yes, typically you only give him straw, but since this animal ate a ton and good stuff, so how much do you pay to feed him a good meal once in a while? And therefore you pay 2/3 of whatever that is, like we said before, the 2/3 amount on sale. And therefore the Gemara learns another halacha, and this is passing in Shulchan Aruch. If it eats wheat or something that's not good for it, let's say a dog eats chocolate. It ate all my Swiss chocolate. It's terrible. It can kill a dog. You don't have to pay. P'tura. Shkoyach. See you later. Rav Chizda tells Rami Bar Chama, Rav Zalman, you remember who Rami Bar Chama was to Rav Chizda? Son-in-law. Both Rava and Rami Bar Chama married the same daughter of Rav Chizda, the famous story where Rava said, I want to be second, because he knew that whoever marries her only going to live 2 years. Says Gemara, Rav Chizda tells Rami Bar Chama, what's with you? I didn't see you at night. So Om Chanan Rashi is the Tchum. I want to show you this beautiful chart that we have for Tchum. Check this out. Hold on. If you don't, Tchum means, let me just say quickly, then you see in the chart, you'll see how beautiful it is. Tchum means you're allowed to walk 2,000 amas in every direction of your house. But let's say you want to get somewhere further than 2,000 amma. So you put down an eruv, you put down a meal somewhere within the 2,000 amma, and then that gives you another 2,000 amma from that bread. Because it's as if you live by that bread. What that does is that you cannot go now in the opposite direction of your house. Now your house was shifted over to the bread. So now you have 2,000 amma in each direction of the bread, which gives you 4,000 amma from your house, but 0 amma on the backside of your house. You can only walk in the direction of the bread. Okay? So here it is in the chart. Look how beautiful this is. Here's your house. Take a piece of bread, you put it 2,000 amma away from your house. I think I have to click here. I just want to make sure. Okay. You put it 2,000 amma away from your house. So now you get 2,000 amma from the bread on until the red line. But notice the red line in the back of the house, you can't go that direction at all. What? No. You can't do 2. Only 1. When we get to Erevin Beis Hashem. Well, you could put, there's a sugya, could I use this one instead of this one? I didn't know where my Rebbe is coming from. It was a sugya, he thought that we heard he's coming from here. But to use it, no. You can't use 2 eruvs. Oh, and it shows over here that you can't go. Very nice. Beautiful. Anyway, I just showed it just to get another musug and get it clear. Why weren't you there in yeshiva? I get it. It was the tchum. You couldn't come. The boilon mile ma'al yisa. He asked us a beautiful shaila, and this is Rabbi Yisai. This happened literally in a tekufa that we have right now, but it happened the last time, or one of the times there was the war with Gaza. So like today, they take all the people from the north and the south. Everybody has to leave their houses. So a guy didn't leave, and he felt that he's in big danger because his house didn't have mamad or whatever. So he broke into his neighbor's house and used his house. Meanwhile, his neighbor's away, in the middle of Eretz Yisrael or Mavet Shemesh somewhere. The guy comes back after the war, like a day earlier or something, and he finds this guy in his bedroom. Like, what are you doing here? He says, I'm sorry. Chayiv or not chayiv? Does he have to pay him rent or not? You hear the shiloh? So that's exactly the sugya that we're going to be learning now. And in that particular case, the guy said, I'll pay you rent. He says, I don't want money from you unless the rabbi says you're chayiv. If you chayiv money, great, not. So what's the halacha? So we had a great shaila and you weren't there. I wonder what you would say. So what was so great? You have a squatter. Unfortunately, if you're in real estate, you know exactly what I'm talking about. People come into your house. If you're in a liberal state, Hashem Yirachim, you can take many years and hundreds of thousands of dollars to get them out. If you're in normal places, then it's easier. You have a squatter. The guy sat there. And what's his time? He says, you didn't rent it out anyway. So what do you care if I stay here? I didn't do anything. I'm not touching anything. I'm not using your electric. I'm not making anything dirty. I'm a very clean person. What do you care? Now, there is a concept in Shas, koifin al midas daim. I can force you not to be as daiming. It's daim the Rishayim. You don't have to be a Rochel. What do you care if the guy uses it? What's the Keitachan? There's zero damage. There's no what is it called? Wear and tear, nothing. Let's see. I'm afraid. I don't know if they're telling me the truth. I'm afraid right now I have like 6 families leaving my house from Mavet Shemesh. What are you in America? What do you care? You guys need it. There's nothing. Okay. Fine. As long as they don't do barbecues inside my dining room, we're fine. Says the Gemara. What's the case? If we're talking about a place that wasn't rented, like my house, it's not for rent. And the guy has his own house and he doesn't want to rent. The guy didn't benefit anything from being there, and this guy didn't lose anything. So there's nothing to be charged. So you're talking about no, it's rentable. It's on the multiple listing, and he wants to rent. And the guy wants to rent the house. So he's benefiting and he's missing. Why is he missing? He didn't rent out his house. Why is he missing? So Taisa says because when people see that somebody lives there, they don't want to touch it. They don't want to rent it. Chavruza just told me today, a Maisa, that his grandfather, a big tzaddik, told me a lot of Maisa about him. He had a woman living in his house up until like 2 years ago in the old city for many, many, many years, and he never raised the rent for her. He said, she's a Holocaust survivor, I'm not raising the rent. This woman was nifter on a Shabbos. He said, I'm not magzim. Motzi Shabbos before Havdalah, 3 phone calls is the house for rent. They didn't even take the body out of the house. People want to rent the house. Never a phone call b'chlal when she was alive, but as soon as she died, boom. So that's what it says. Somebody's in there. What do you mean I didn't rent it? I didn't rent it because you're in there. People know that somebody's in there. They don't ask to rent. So, Zog Gemara. We're talking about a case that's not for rent. But this guy wants to rent. Like my house. It's not for rent, but the guys up north, they need a place to stay. Could he say, what do you care? You didn't lose anything. What? The stone on the floor is rubbed out? No. Or perhaps he could say, Ha is Hanis. Now I gotta tell you right away. I know you're asking a lot of questions. It doesn't make any sense. I don't want this guy in my house. Shulchan Aruch says straight out. If you tell a guy, I don't want you in there, he's chayiv 100%. We're talking about a situation where he didn't say anything. Not only that, I believe that, I'm pretty sure, and I couldn't find it today in the Shulchan Aruch, but I'm pretty sure that you are a ganav. By you going into somebody else's house without permission, you're a ganav. The question is, do you have to pay him or not? Because I didn't cause any loss. He didn't lose anything from me. But you're wrong for going in there and using somebody's house without permission. The turning of the daf is sponsored by Chanan Averbuch, Liluy nishmas, my holy nephew, son of Robert. Liluy nishmas Binyamin Meir ben Dovid Airley. And Liluy nishmas Binyamin Meir ben Dovid by another person is also sponsored. Now, if you skip the email section, which many of you do, and I know I caught you here, I'm looking right at you, so then you could go on right now, and we're doing something l'zechus nishmas of this young, I think he was 20 at most. We're going to try to finish half a shas. All you need to do is listen to a shir. Don't even do a daf. Go on 1.5 speed, without emails. Click on here. Go to. It's very, very simple. You go on there. It shows you the whole shas. You click on it, and it gives you the YouTube link, and boom, you're done. Zog the Gemara. Or you can say no, but you benefited. You chayiv. It's a mishnah. So he asks him, what mishnah is it? Again, we're talking about Reb Chaim and Rav Chisda. So the son-in-law says it's a mishnah. Hey, Masnisin. The father-in-law says, what mishnah? When you'll be my servant, I'll teach you. In other words, you have to pay for this. I'm not giving you a halacha for free. What's the pshat? So they all say that if you work for something, then you have a bigger connection to it. Torah as well. You work for the Torah. Even though he was his son-in-law, let's say he talked to father-in-law, yeah, okay, he wanted to come, with a little, so he said, okay, shaka sudri karachle. He took his clothing and he folded it, and that's it. Okay, I did something for you now, please tell me pshat. So, Amalei, imnei nesa, mishalemes ma, imnehenes, mishalemes ma shehenes. And our mission says, if the animal benefited, then you have to pay what it benefited. Oh, so Mela, you benefited from this apartment, pay for the apartment. Does that make sense, everybody say? Again, in our Mishnah, the animal ate a bunch of fruit, whatever it ate, it benefited $20, you should pay $20. Does that have any connection to our question? Our question is, a guy goes into an apartment, goes to sleep there for 2 days, the owner doesn't even know, he found out later on from somebody, nothing's missing from the apartment, it's the same apartment. You see the difference? One's chaser, one's lo chaser. One's chaser, one's lo chaser. Amar Rava, says Rava, Kama lichali. This person who doesn't get sick, v'lo margish, and he's not scared, Gavre the Morei Saye, Gavre the Morei Saye, because Baruch Hu helps him. It's like by us also. We don't know. We will never know. Maybe one day we'll find out what kind of machlo we were supposed to have, but because we did this and this chesed, and we were saved from this and this. Why did this happen? Every time after this, like I mentioned, every time there's some sort of tragedy, I should have, I heard this couple. I was supposed to be in Rayim, but I didn't, Be'eri. I left Be'eri because I decided to keep shop. Each person has a different story why they weren't there. But do we know all the cheshbainas? We don't know all the cheshbainas. Do you realize, he tells him, you realize how many times you're not sick and how many times you're not scared? You don't even realize what Hashem is doing for you. In other words, you're so off, son-in-law. Rav is telling you. Rav is the other son-in-law, by the way, right? Rav Bar Chama and Rav are both married the same woman, but one after another. So Rav is saying about his, not brother-in-law, or his wife's late husband, he's saying, he's mamish lucky. He said a halacha without even knowing what he's talking about. Why? This question that we had. Even though it has no connection to our Mishnah, he accepted it. Hi, zenenev zechaser. By the fruit, by us and the fruit, he's missing fruit, so you have to pay for the fruit that he ate, the animal. But by an apartment, nothing changed in the apartment. He benefited and he didn't lose anything. Anyway, but why is it takad halacha? So he says, these fruit that he ate in Rosh Hashanah, he didn't care about it. He knew that it's going to get damaged. I don't know that he was mafkir, but it's like hefkir because fruit in Rosh Hashanah, someone's going to take it, someone's going to step on it, someone's going to, okay, so it's like hefkir. And that's why Zeno is a chaser. That's why he's potter. Yeah, because it's not Zeno is a chaser, because it's not chaser, he's not missing anything because it's like hefker. Yeah. Zog the Gemara. And so going back to the bus with the pacifier, Reb Zilberstein says on that he's, I think it's Reb Zilberstein, that there's no such thing as sending something on a bus. You either go on the bus, you don't go on a bus. So again, Zenenev is the chaser. What does the bus guy care? Kleisel wants to do chesed. Okay, he goes into that. Each in their own. Fine, that's his thing. Tanan. Hamagid chaver mishalosh ruchayzav. Boys, here we go. Another beautiful chart. Is Reb Airley and his son. Here we go. This, I realized afterwards that we have to chop down the piece of karka that's next to me, the Reuven on the bottom, take that out, but pretend it's not there. So what we have here is a field in the center, and you have Reuven has a field all around him. Goes Reuven and builds a wall. He doesn't want to see Shimon, builds a wall. Does Shimon have to pay him for the wall? No. He put up 3 walls. We don't make Shimon pay anything. But if he does this, Rabbi, say, check this out. Boom. Now, so we say that Shimon has to pay for all 4 walls. What do you see? The guy in the middle benefits. Now he has a protected field. Nobody could go in there. The guy on the outside doesn't lose anything because anyway he didn't want Shimon to come into his field, so he had to build it against Shimon, so it's considered loy chaser. And you see that Shimon has to pay, even in the case of zenen v'zelay chaser, yichayev. No, but he put the 4th one on. So. Shimon put the 4th one on. Yeah. Or reviz, let me see. God says reviz. No. Reuven put it up. Right. But Lamaisi's Nehena. He doesn't want. What do you doesn't want? He's having a no. I don't want you to paint my house, but you have a no from it. I don't want this. I don't want you to feed my animal, but you have a no. Maybe I don't want. At the end of the day, you have a no. I just want to say real quickly because we're running out of time. The Vilna Gaon says an unbelievable thing here. He says there's the Tana says that al karchach atanoitzar, you're forced to be created. Al karchach atanoilad, you're forced to be born. Al karchach atachai, you're forced to live. Al karchach atameis, you're forced to die. So he says, but a person can have a taina. I don't want to come to this world. Why are you giving me this whole cheshbon? You put me in this world against my will, against everything. I don't want to live. I don't want to be born. I don't want anything. And then you're going to come and give me a din Torah and say you spoke Lashon Hara, you did this and that. I didn't ask to be here. If I asked to come here, okay, so then you can give me, but I didn't ask. So says the Vilna Gaon, that's mamish what's going on here. The guy has 3 walls. He's potter. But when you give him the 4th wall, he's chayav on everything. So he says, what are you saying? You don't want to be created. You don't want to be born. You don't want to live. Very good. But if you're upset that you're about to die, you start screaming, no, I don't want to die. You start paying medical bills and you run to this country and that country. You find out, how do I live longer? Oh, you want to be here? Oh, then you have to pay for everything. Then you want it to be noitzar, you want it to live, you want it to everything. It's okay. So the Gemara. Shani also says the Gemara, Shani Hasam. The reason why it's not considered Zenev Chaser, Domalei, At Garabli Kefi. You caused me to put up that extra wall, It's because of you. Without you, I wouldn't have to do it. And Mamela, you have to pay me for everything. It's interesting that Tosfos says a very interesting pshat. I'll just say in 2 seconds, you don't have to understand it. That because of Shimon, Reuven's outer wall is much larger. Because if Shimon didn't exist, he would have a smaller chutzner. Okay, whatever. Says the Gemara, Tashma, Omer Rabbi Yossi, Imam Nikov, V'godas Revius, Megalgalam Zakol. Rabbi Yossi says what I was telling you before, that if he by himself put up the 4th wall, then only then is he chayiv on everything. Time of the Gadol Nikov, Hamakiv Potter. It's only because, according to Rabbi Yosef, that he himself Shimon himself put up this wall. But what if Reuven is the one that put up the wall? Now the Gemara brings the reverse raya. It's only because he himself wanted it. But if he didn't want it, he's potter. Check this out. Look what Yoshi did here. I could have done this. I could have put up garbage, just a bunch of thorns, and it would have cost me peanuts. I didn't ask to put up a beautiful stone wall. And Mamela, that's why he's potter. Tashma, Habayis v'aliyah. This is Habayis v'aliyah, meaning a bottom floor and a top floor. Sheshnaim, shenaflu. Loya, poof, fell down. In those days, probably it was a daily occurrence. Made out of mud, I don't know what, fell. So now the guy on top says, listen, I need a second story, so I need you to build the first story. Let's get going. He doesn't have the cash. So the guy that lives on the second floor could build the first floor and live there. Until he pays him for his cost. Says the guy that lived on the bottom floor, he has to pay for construction costs. But what about rent? He doesn't have to pay rent. So the guy from the top floor is living on the bottom, rent free. He's not paying the guy from the first floor anything. So what's the obvious answer? He has the right to build there because he really gets to build a second floor. But there is no first floor for him to build a second floor. So meanwhile, he's going to build his second floor on the ground. So that other guy can't take rent from him. So on that Mishnah, right over there, Rabbi Yehuda says that this guy that lives on the top floor, if he lives, let's say, listen what happened. The guy from the first floor built his first floor. The guy from the second floor jumps into the first floor and lives there. So, he has to pay rent. You see from here what? That this one benefited. This one doesn't care. He didn't lose anything. The guy from the first floor, you still have to pay rent. Because when, it happened to me, it happened many times. Yosef, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have a brand new house. You don't want anybody living there. Many times you asked me, I remember you asked me, the guy, you want to rent it out for a few months? What would I tell you? Why not?
People will pay more for a new house.
Because it's not new anymore. Once you let the kids in there and they start scribbling in the wall, it's not a new house anymore. And that's what's going on here. Because Charirusa, you made the walls black. How much damage is a black wall? Very little. How much? A couple $100. That paint. But you know what? Since you're already high for the paint, so now I'm going to make you pay for everything. All the rent, all those months that should have been Zenev Zeh Chaser, the potter. But since you ruined my walls and now it's not a brand new house, it doesn't have that smell anymore. Brand new car versus a car that somebody sat in it for 2 months. Not the same thing. So that, you have to pay me that difference. Now you're going to pay for all the rent. Says the Gemara. Shachu obey Rebami. So they asked this question to Rebami. A guy sneaks into somebody's apartment, a squatter, does he have to pay rent? Omar ma osaloy. Ma, what did he do? Ma chisra, what did he cause him a loss? Uma ziko, how did he damage him? In other words, he doesn't have to pay. Again, I'm saying again, don't get upset. If the guy says straight out, I don't want you to live there and you have to pay me rent, you have to pay rent. So I don't know. I have to think about it. They send him again. How many times are you going to send me this question? If I know the answer, what you think I wouldn't tell you? There's a beautiful story that the Brisker Rav asked Rav Shach a question on learning, and Rav Shach didn't have the answer. So the Brisker Rav, that night, 3 o'clock in the morning, he wakes up his son, shakes him up. He says, listen, I have the answer to the question. Run to Rav Shach right now at 3 in the morning and tell him the answer. Now, of course, his son didn't want to get up at 3 in the morning, go out in the middle of Yerushalayim and go outside. He said, well, I'm going to wake him up. He says, there's no way in the world that Rav Shach went to sleep with this question. It has to be he's up, and I want to be able to go to sleep. So, no, he's the son of the Brisker Rav. He didn't let. He says, how do you know? Maybe he has the answer, and he fell asleep. He says, that's impossible, because he knows that I had the question, so he knows that I'm not sleeping. He would come to answer me. Yeah, I have to go. And that's what the Gemara says over here. What? You think if I had an answer, I wouldn't tell you? Of course I would have told you. Look, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, you don't have to pay for the rent. In the name of Rabbi Yochanan, 2 Talmidim in the name of the Rebbe. They say the exact opposite. You have to pay rent. He didn't really hear it. If he would have heard it from his Rebbe, it would have been different. He heard it from a diuk. Here's the side in Shas for Boyse, if you want to know this. Anytime the Gemara says, Lav beferish itmar, elam miklal itmar, it's many, many times in Shas, the Gemara always slugs it up, says it's not a good raya. I think almost every time. So, that will be my next question in Shas yidden. Where in Shas does it say Lav beferish itmar that it does stick? Anyway, we're almost done. This nan, not 11 or Shel Hegdish. Hariz Elimal. The guy in charge of Hegdish, of the Beis HaMikdash, takes a beam out of the Beis HaMikdash. He's not over an Aver. Nisan al Chaver, but once he gives it to his friend, that's using something of the Beis HaMikdash. And Humal, the Gizbar of the Hegdish, he's Chayiv, the Chaver Elimal, because he's the one that took it out. B'na b'sech Beisoi, Hariz Elimal. We have a great piece of art here. Here's the Gizbar Hegdish sitting in his house. If he built it into his house, unless he lived there for a full pruta, that he put it in, like there was an opening like right like this picture. So look what he did. Look. Oh, he slipped it in there and now covered, but it's not part of his house. If it's part of his house, then he changed the whole beam. This is a case not part of that. Could have been a little different, like a skylight. He put it over the skylight. Fine. So he said in the name of Shmuel, you see, you didn't tell Hegdish about it, and nevertheless, you have to pay. And he was quiet. So says the Gemara, because he was quiet, shtika, Liluy, that's not the reason, because it was a big mistake. Think about it for a second. You have to tell the Beis HaMikdash? Who is the Beis HaMikdash? Huh? No, a little bit better. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not owned by the Kohen Gadol. He works there for Hashem. So when you're doing Me'ila, you're taking from Hashem. You're not taking from the Kohen Gadol. So you have to let Hashem know. Hashem knows. You don't have to, hey, Hashem, I took your beam. It doesn't work like that. When you do something from Hegdish without telling, it's like telling an individual. It's Hashem that you're dealing with over here. So he knows already. And Memela, that's why you can't bring a raya as if you didn't let him know. Raboisai, have a wonderful day, and we'll say Kapitel Tehillim. Everybody together, nice. We should hear Psurus Toivas. Shira Malois, mi mama kim grazicho Adonai. Adonai, shema bikoili, tieno zav kashuvois, the koita hanunai. Im abinois tishmorio, Adonai mi yamoid. Ki im chas nechol leman tivorei. Kivisi Adonai, kivson nafshi, v'leveroi, cholti. Nafshi l'Adonai, mishumim laboiker, shomrim laboiker. Yachel Yisrael el Adonai. Kim Adonai chesed v'arbei moifedus. Who Yivdes Yisrael, Mikol Abamisov, Acheinu Kobes Yisrael, Anasun Mitzvah Shivyo, Hoim Dim Ben Bayom, Ben Bayabosho, Hamokim Rachim Alei, Yemetzim Mitzvah, Revok Mafel Loyer, Mishubet Legulo, Hashtoa Baralov Zman Koriv, Rimar Omei. Shkoyach, have a beautiful day.